UKLC is presented by Barclays and Curry's PC World.
Hello and welcome back to the UK League Championship. We're getting ready to go into game number 3. Now, the stakes aren't as high in this game. These two teams, unfortunately, cannot make playoffs. And I believe Bulldog... Yeah, Bulldog they're in relegation. There is no way out of that, unfortunately, for them.
I believe both teams.
Oh, yeah, they both are. Yeah.
So they're both in relegation. They also can't change seeding at this point. Bulldog are last. Barrage Academy second last. But... the significant thing here is that Bulldog have no wins. So yes, does this affect standings? No. But is there a lot on the line in terms of pride? Absolutely. So remember, if they go to relegations, these two teams could end up heading up against each other at some point. So I think getting an advantage here, getting into the other team's head is huge. But also for Bulldog, just getting a win on the board, because this team has switched roster situations time and time again. They are now looking actually pretty strong. Obviously not to the level that they would be challenging for playoffs maybe. But potentially, actually, they had a pretty good run last week where, although they didn't come out with a win against London and Munster, who are our two top teams, they made it look close. Yeah. So I feel like I'm favoring them in this matchup because of recent form. Barrage had a couple of good weeks here and there, but they haven't had the consistency. But either way, these two teams still have a lot to fight for, even if it's not going to change the outcome.
I mean, when we did the predictions, me, you, and Scoundrel all actually voted for Bulldog in this one. So far, we are 0 for 2 on the day. So maybe this is the first one we actually get a win on. Nice.
I think that's the thing, is that we see such a shift. I mean, I think coming into it, Demise. No, we're not 0 for 2 in the day because I went for Demise. Did you go for Demise? I'd have thought.
Oh yeah, we both went for Demise. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that like
1 for 2 on the day.
Yeah, on current form, Eminem looked a bit rough. Enclave looked a little bit rough. Barrage looked a little bit rough. But that could change drastically. That there's very real opportunity that we've seen time and time again. Week on week, teams have shifted their level drastically. Changes have come in, practice come in. As Aragon said, players have been ill. It's not a consistent thing. So although we have gone for Bulldog in this situation, they are still the team on 0 wins. Barrage has shown a higher level than them so far in that glory week they had, which they had an amazing run of games. But they need to have it here as well if they want to be able to... I mean, again, it doesn't change the outcome. It's very much a pride thing, but it's also looking towards the playoffs and saying, okay, we are the better, to the relegation, saying, okay, we are the better team going to relegations. We're going to retain our spot.
I feel for the underdogs. Excuse the pun on this one. They haven't been able to pick up a single win throughout the entire season. And a win here is big for your confidence as far as the relegation tournament goes. If you enter into the relegation tournament 0-14, you go in somewhat demoralized. And obviously, this is a very different Bulldog from what we had at the beginning of the season. There's been a lot of roster shuffles. There's been a lot of changing around. And this is definitely the strongest form we've seen of Bulldog. Like you said, last week, they challenged the 2 top teams. They didn't win, but they got pretty bloody close. So for me, there's, this should be a win for Bulldog. Barrage also, they've had a pretty rough season, and a loss to Bulldog here could also be pretty demoralizing. So both of these teams really wanted to find this win as they do get closer and closer towards that relegation. But guys, we are going to cut to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll be back with Champ Select for our bottom 2 teams. So we'll see you after this break. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC as we're getting ready to go into Champ Select for our third game of the day between Barrage and Bulldog. Barrage on the blue side, Bulldog on the red. There goes the Oriana. It's been actually picked up for a lot of these games, and I feel like mid might be a point to watch out for. We've been talking about Thomas Go for the entire the season, how we feel like he's been in a rough situation on a struggling team, but he individually has been, I'd argue, one of the strongest mid laners in the tournament.
Yeah, I think definitely comparative to the rest of the team for sure. You can say he's like the best player. The thing is, this is now a new team, and I think they looked better last week than they have before at all in the tournament. So definitely an opportunity for them to shine here. Now, it's fairly standard bans here. The Set and the Volibear, those two powerful jungle top flexes. The Oriana has seen quite a lot of priority as a strong scaling mage, who also obviously has that shielding later. Karma, obviously that huge flex and also powerful scaler. Picks that are still open I'm looking towards are the Karthus, now gone. The Ashe is that thing that's still open as a possible strong one. But instead going to go for the Thresh here. So Barrage could go in a lot of directions here. We've seen Azir prioritize first in our recent games. Ezreal for KDO is also huge, but it looks like they're going to lean on the Syndra here. Something that does get left open a bit more now than it did before I got the nerf, sorry. But still powerful, still able to contest that priority and punish.
Well, that's going to be the Ashe and the Syndra instantly locked in
Ashe
for
and
the side of
Shyvana, you mean?
Bulldog. Sorry, Shyvana. There's too many seasons.
SYs. Shy? Sin? Yeah, close enough.
Shydra?
I think the Shyvana I'm less convinced on, but clearly a comfort they wanted to go for. And obviously, if you land the arrow, you can follow up with the Flame Breath that is AP. But the Ashe, super powerful. Obviously, it has priority against a lot of lanes, has other CC. And again, we're seeing that Jhin answering out. So something that does have quite a bit of range to match against the likes of the Ashe.
Obviously, can get cancelled out on your ultimate from an Ashe arrow, but realistically, you want to save that Ashe arrow for disengage and engage realistically. And so far, we've seen the Jhin ult, like you said earlier, it doesn't really do too much damage at the moment anyway, especially early
the execute
on.
Does. Yeah,
yes.
it's like if they're full HP and you Jhin ult, you just tickle them. If they're low HP, it really actually does a lot. And speaking of getting them low, you've got a Syndra, you've got a Graves, a lot of power in the mid jungle already picked up to put pressure down onto Bulldog, especially as you tend to see Shyvana as more of a farming jungler, especially pre-6, and then she looks to be more of a team fighter. And now looking over to Bulldog, could take a support in this situation, just to pair up with the Ashe and give them a powerful lane. So I'll take the Lulu, and now they have the opportunity to ban away threats to that Ashe Lulu. So I'm thinking Nautilus, I'm thinking Leona as the things that could potentially be an issue. They can just instantly target those here.
I really actually like to see those removed because I think the one thing for Barrage currently lacking is any frontline, and Nautilus and Leona will give you that and facilitate that for them. Obviously, things like the Braum are still open, but Braum doesn't really synergize up that well with the Jhin, as it's quite hard to stack the passive. So we'll see what they decide to take away. For the moment, it's the Malphite, again, frontline, and very good onto these immobile AD carries like the Ashe. You can just jump in with the ult, slam her down, and hope the rest of the team have the damage to follow up. Over to Barrage, though, they could look to just ban away these mids and make sure that Wojux on the Syndra has as comfortable a matchup as possible. With the Oriana all banned away, they don't have to worry about that.
I think Thomas Go, pretty solid on the likes of Zoe. Azir is also something that I would tend to potentially want to ban away, but
LeBlanc?
Actually going for his Yasuo, so this is something he does play. Obviously synergizes really well with the Lulu, but not something I'd necessarily expect in this situation. But Nautilus, no surprises there.
The Yasuo is actually a flex as well because Zyko plays.
True, yeah.
I remember Zyko's a player, so actually that's a solid flex taken away. Not sure how it really mixes up.
So I mean, I was thinking we'd see mid bans. If they want to target Zyko, they could go Yasuo Aurelia. That's the standard last rotation against Zyko because those are his pocket picks. As much as they could flex that down, now that I think about it, is definitely Zyko picks they're targeting. So concerned about the last pick that they could counter pick with for Bulldog. I expect to see a mid laner here. You know the Syndra's not getting flexed because you have your AD carry. Even you have your jungler if you're concerned. So potentially Azir, I think, would be solid in this scenario for Thomas Go.
Or his LeBlanc.
Zoe also an option as well.
Oh, yes. All right, I mean, he's going to look at the Zed.
Yeah, why not? You've been popping off in some other games. Technically, this doesn't affect the standings. Go big or go home. Coming in with a Zed.
Zed got a buff to his shadow. I think it was 2 patches ago now, or maybe 1 patch ago. The missile speed is a lot quicker, so it's actually quite hard to dodge the full combo. Syndra already has a pretty rough time with assassins that can get it off in her face, and Thomas actually should just be able to get a pretty nice amount of trading power off it. Obviously, Syndra will outshove him, however. Then it's a Pantheon lock-in. So that'll be going in either the jungle or the top for the moment for the side
Likely
of
support,
Barrage.
in all honesty. It's not going jungle because Graves is there.
Oh, yeah.
Probably go and support in this situation. I've seen a lot of it recently. Just the point and click CC, the execute damage it has, and then on top of that, the fact that you can tank a tower for 2.5 seconds and take no damage, and then the global ultimate. A lot of strong tools, and he's really started rising priority. We did see him a lot last year from Kasing specifically as a support champion, and then he did sort of fall out of meta, but I just think he's really powerful in what he can do, especially you targeting something like an Ashe or a Lulu, hard to dodge away. And then Akka's, I expect this to be a Gragas for him in the top lane. Into the Renekton, right. You can just play, again, he's good in the melee champions because that body slam, you essentially CC the Renekton, you walk away with phase rush, CC him again, and you just repeat, and the Renekton has very little interaction. So we'll have to see.
I will argue for the side of Bulldog that they are lacking any real effective frontline. When you've got the Pantheon, and I expect this to still be an AP Gragas, but there is the ability to disengage with what they've got here. So neither team really got like a true tank for the moment. But talk to me about these win conditions. What are we looking at here? What are Bulldog trying to go for with this comp?
So Bulldog can have a pretty solid 1-3-1 if they get momentum in this game. Essentially, Renekton and Zed are big snowballers. But then if they get into the team fight, essentially their backline is better. They have a lot of dive potential to kill out threats. I feel like the fights are going to be super chaotic, and it's all going to be about finding the squishier members, the likes of the Syndra, the Ashe, the Jhin. But I feel like that's a little bit more on Bulldog because they only have one backline carry, even if it is a Lulu buffed Ashe. So I expect the fights to be a bit chaotic. Whoever finds the good engages will likely come out ahead. And then I feel like, there's more options from Bulldog to find a 1-3-1 to open up into. But I feel like the mid jungle in particular of Barrage is super strong. So I think for Barrage, play around the strength of Graves early, play around the priority you should have mid lane, play around the Pantheon strength. Bulldog can go a little bit later. You have a strong 1-3-1. You got a great backline for team fights. But essentially, it's going to be pretty chaotic overall for these two teams.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be the Mage Shyvana from Nutri. They've taken the Dark Harvest, so have the ability to go into that build and heavily chunk out the likes of the Syndra and the Jhin before fights even break out. And at that point, it's actually fairly easy mop up if Thomas Go can get on the flank or if an Ashe arrow connects. So that's something Barrage have to be somewhat careful of, but flanks are also can be a little risky if you're going into the Pantheon and the Gragas, so the point and click CC from the Panth, and then just the follow-up CC coming out for the Gragas and the ability to disengage. So there's a lot of kind of micro things you're gonna have to track if we do get into those team fights. But if Barrage do get ahead and they just Bulldog do get ahead and going for that 1-3-1, I worry if Barrage might struggle with that. Yeah,
it could be tricky. I think Gragas should be okay, but if you just fall behind, especially since you tend to build more AP, you're just not gonna be able to do much to Zyko. Mid lane as well. Losing to a Zed in terms of snowball is going to be an issue. We do have double exhaust for the side of Barrage, which should give them a bit of leniency. But ultimately, I feel like either side that finds momentum in this game is probably going to have a pretty good time. But again, things go in either direction. If you find good backline access, if you find an opportunity to punish, who knows?
Well, we loaded onto the Summoner's Rift for game number 3. Barrage currently 3 points ahead of Bulldog. Bulldog haven't been able to find a single win this season, but this is definitely the strongest form this team has been in. There was a look for an invade.
Yeah, there's a good defensive ward. You got to be really scared against a team like this who has not only the Pantheon, but also the Gragas. It's so easy to take someone down just with the point and click, then you have the follow-up. So good move from Zyko to evade that one. And you can see the vision that got thrown down on the opposite side of the map is that ward on the red buff. So a bit of info there.
Given the information as looks like for the moment, Afroboy will be starting on that red side, but they'll be able to draw information from the fact that they know that Afroboy's not at the red currently. The assumptions will be there for the side of Bulldog. Literally got a very quick clear on the Shyvana. It's one of the junglers that can actually keep pace with this Graves and also scales fairly well as well.
And I think specifically, we've seen a lot of Shyvana into the Graves. it's quite interesting that it was the Graves that was actually picked into the Shyvana, because we see a lot of Shyvana into Graves because simply you don't play how the Graves wants to play. The Graves wants someone who's up in his face and he wants to kite around and just consistently find damage. Shyvana doesn't do that. Shyvana, AP specifically, is just going to fire poke at you from a distance and never properly interact with you. So it's a good matchup for Nutri if he finds an advantage here.
Alpaca out of the darkness comes in, gets a stun off onto Snuggly, and then they just answer back. Both supports getting poked out a little bit.
A lot of KO potential on this Barrage bot lane, by the way. A lot of execute potential with the forward shot from the Jhin, and also the spear, the Comet Spear from Pantheon does execute below, I believe it's 20% HP.
Yeah.
So if you do end
crit,
up low,
isn't it?
yeah, basically, it's not complete execute.
I was about to say that's broken.
I mean, that's the thing, is that when you say execute, it's like that used to be the term for something that did extra damage at low HP, and then Pike appeared, and now it's like, no, it just insta kills you, and it's like, well, yeah, I guess that's not what execute means, but
I mean, that makes more sense technically.
Well, yeah, technically, you'll win this time
for once. So Nutri actually went for his Raptor start and then bolted towards bot lane, did a full clear bot lane, goes in for a reset. His red buff is still up. As Wojak actually gets a stun off onto Thomas Go here, half helping them.
So the reason I think that's important is because it pushes him away from Afro Boy. He clears his bot side jungle, so it's safe. So now you see Afro Boy, who's passed from top to bot with a full clear almost. He's now looking to invade and threaten Nutri's jungle. And he's going to find nothing at all. He's throwing a ward down, no rewards. He will go and take the Scuttle Crab, but that's all he gets. And Nutri, really intelligent decision. He cleared his bot side camps out as quickly as possible. He now goes up towards top side. He grabs his Scuttle uncontested, whereas normally he would struggle to take the bot Scuttle because obviously Pantheon super good in skirmishes, as is the Graves. And then he's going to be able to clear his red jungle, but not before I gank in the top lane.
Yeah, it looks like Nutri's just looking for a play onto Akers. Akers able to avoid out on it though. Meanwhile, bot lane, the dive's happening, and Snuggly ignited, but able to survive. Bulldog do a good job of holding on here.
Yeah, both supports being all summoners, but ultimately, Bulldog survive from a pretty heavy invest from Afro Boy. Afro Boy didn't actually take the Scuttle before that, so only clearing that now. And it means Nutri's going to be able to get ahead in terms of farm.
Nutri picks up topside farm. Should be okay able to do that. Thomas closing in on that level 6 mark for the death mark now. Exhaust is still up on KDO, so a potential investment towards the bot side from Thomas Go could be maybe not as easy to execute, especially when the second you land from the death mark, Alpaca can stun you. But Afro Boy, with the vision control into Nutri's jungle, will actually just be able to deny some camps from them.
Okay, so now there is a reward from Afro Boy. Able to steal away some of Nutri's camps. So getting some favor from the extended situation here. Nutri will walk through and they'll find Afro Boy having stolen away this and could actually contest. I think actually Afro Boy not even going to stay and smite that. He's just going to clear off. So able to push Afro Boy out of their jungle.
Well, he's going to crash in the top lane. Akers getting bullied out a little bit here by Zyko. Zyko got a pretty healthy lead over him as far as the CS department goes. Thomas trying to catch this wave for the moment. Wojak does have excellent shove on the Syndra though. Zed one of the best champions to get shoved in under tower though, with the execute you have on your auto attacks when the minions are low. It's actually really hard to actually mess up the last hitting underneath the tower.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big things with the Zed is that even if you shove him under, it's so easy with that. Like, I'm not gonna say execute because it's not execute.
No, it's not. It's not.
The extra damage when they're low HP passive he has. Wow, that sounds so much better to say. Thanks, Jake.
I didn't make it up. I didn't add Pike to the game.
I think we should do it. I honestly think we should. We just make a petition, remove Pike from the game. Yuumi as well.
I would. Yeah, I was about to say, I'd rather if we're gonna get a champion removed, I'd rather it be Yuumi.
Pike, Aphelios, good options as well.
Yeah. I mean, they're good options, but for me, the Pike. No, the Yumi. Now, you did see the power of the new Shadow there. Really quick on top of Wojux, and you got the electrocute damage off, which is kind of the trading pattern of the Zed in lane. As they did land a stun here onto Snuggly. Snuggly, remember, burnt all the summoner spells. So Zaffro Boy will take a death mark to the face, but they instantly follow up with the stun, and First Blood picked up onto Wojux. Nutri gonna have to run away. Can't actually get there in time, and it does look like Barrage will get their free time onto this dragon.
Yeah, a little ambitious from Thomas Go there. Obviously, you know Syndra's there with the exhaust. Not really sure you're ever going to find a kill, but ultimately you end up paying for it with your life. And now Barrage, pretty easy for them just to pick up this dragon.
That's going to be the Ocean Drake picked up. It's not the earliest one of today. It's actually probably the slowest as far as the first dragons go. But it's a good start, and denial of the snowball is the key thing here. They don't want to let Thomas Go start to get a hard pop-off on the Zed. So a good shutdown, and Wojux getting that kill as well means there's more gold for them to work with and able to use to kind of deny and shove in the Zed, also to deny the roaming.
Seen a decent lead in the top lane for Zyko coming out, which is pretty important, but my concern is going to be this mid lane. This Zed so far not really had the impact you want. Ideally looking to find some plays across the map. But for now, we see that Barrage have sent their bot lane up towards top lane. Oh, Zyko found Wojux.
Yeah, Zyko actually jumps in, dodges out on the scan of the week. Thomas hasn't got Death Mark or Ignite, so it's just going to force Wojux's flash down and exhaust flashless Syndra as Death Mark's coming up soon. Thomas could potentially find a little outplay onto Wojux if the opportunity is presented to them. Wade's going to shove in the bot lane and the top side. Barrage actually do pull the lane swap, and as it looks like Bulldog just want to try and answer out. Akkas on the AP Gragas will have a bit of wave clear available to them, but still has to be careful. Nutri's got ultimate. Can jump in.
Yeah, and if you're not confident taking the fight, I think this is okay. Essentially, good moves from Zyko there to clear the wave out. They're getting a lot of plate damage in the bot lane here. Akkas is unwilling to step up because he knows he can get chased down, especially as Ashe has ultimate. So I think this is fine. This is what we typically want to see when teams are trading against Herald. Now, we will likely still see Barrage get the first tower here, but it's not so bad when you're trading on the other side of the map. They obviously didn't want to opt in that team fight with the strength of things like the Pantheon, the Graves. And they'll just trade off in terms of these plates. Now, Herald's going to come down here for the side of Barrage, and it's not going to one-hit the tower, but it'll get it pretty close.
Afroboy almost died to the tower there. Gets the quick dab off, and Barrage will be able to pull ahead and win out on this tower race. Bulldog pretty quick behind them, though. The Akka's going to do everything in his path to make sure that's not the case. His minions are going to go a little low as ulti lands out by Nutri. Nutri gets bopped up as the arrow connects. In comes Thomas Go, looking for the quick tidy up. Polymorph gets used. Akka's going to get taken down as Thomas secures the kill. Zyko, though, is going to lose a second tower here. Barrage, 2 towers for 1, although it is a tower and a kill over the Bulldog.
Yeah, that's where it becomes a little bit more problematic, is when you're losing a second tower. But they do get the kill, so, you know, there's some degree of trade-off, and it is on a Thomas Go, who obviously you are looking to snowball. The end result, Barrage do come out ahead in terms of the gold values.
Almost going to catch this wave in the mid lane. So hasn't gone back and spent that gold yet. The exhaust is back up for Wojux, but no flash. Deathmark wasn't used by Thomas Go. He has got a level lead over him at the moment. It's going to go back to base and spend up from the gold that was picked up. Looks like Bulldog for now are just going to rotate their members over to the mid lane now. Don't want to contest the top lane. It's way too extended lane, actually, for Snuggly and Misclick to find themselves in. With both the towers gone, there is no zone of safety to play around.
Yeah, really dangerous to step up there, especially against the Pantheon, who can just use the Grand Starfall and make things difficult. Triple Sweeper from Bulldog running at the same time, just to ensure there's no wards available. And a pretty heavy investment around this mid lane. So Dragon spawning up in a minute. As you said, it was a pretty late first Dragon, so will be a late second. But Bulldog are trying to establish control around mid and just sweep out some of this Barrage vision. Now, they are leaning more towards the top side, which is a bit interesting because obviously Dragon being on the bot side tends to be the bigger priority. But could suggest maybe they're willing to trade the Dragon off for a lean into this top tower. We'll have to see.
Does mean that it'll be 2 Dragons over to Barrage Academy. Zyko trying to get some tower places. Nutri and Snuggly make their way over as well. Hanging in the wings. And with no one actually to defend this top lane. This bot lane, sorry. Thomas Go could be on the receiving end of a little bit of hurt. He's got a half elf Afro Boy. A quick combo.
Yeah, smart move from Thomas not to go in though. That is definitely what they were waiting for. And again, just seeing another trade-off for towers. But, you know, one team is trading off towers who has a dragon next to them. The other team is trading off towers with nothing next to them. So I think it's pretty distinctly obvious who it is favors.
Luki's getting the tower plate gold as well. KDO is on the bot side picking up that plate. Top lane is Snuggly, it is Nutri, and it is Zyko. Meanwhile, Misclick's just on wave clear duty, so all this plate gold is also not going into Misclick right now.
Nutri just gonna ult there to clear the wave out as best as possible, and then they'll push through and just go for a reset. I likely expect here. Dragon, as you said, taken by Barrage. That's 2 on the board. It's gonna be a Mountain Soul, which again I don't normally rate these too highly later in the game, but when you first get them, they're really impactful. The extra shielding, and especially against assassins. I think more than anything here, it's really good against Thomas Go because with assassins, you're trying to burst through a full HP bar as quickly as possible in a lot of scenarios. The Mountain Soul just essentially eliminates that possibility a little bit more. So KDO and Wojux with Exhaust as well will feel very safe. And essentially Thomas Go is basically going to have to fish for cleanup or essentially accept that he can't kill someone. He's just going to chunk them out.
Misclick goes back to base, gets the Blade the Ruin King. Thomas Go sitting on that Yuma's Ghost Blade. So that's got the first item picked up, the lethality there. But at the moment, it looks like it's just going to be that 1-3-1 we were talking about from Bulldog. Although they haven't really snowballed with that, so there's still plenty of potential for Barrage to be able to deal with them. Especially top lane, like you said, with the Grand Starfall and how extended top lane is. Zyko has to be pretty careful. Just got the Blade the Ruin King, so while you have a lot of damage in a 1v1 scenario, you actually don't have that much tankiness to you. Dominus will somewhat alleviate that, but it's not a massive amount of like actual tankiness built into the Renekton right now, so it's somewhat squishy.
I think that's why the Pantheon is so good here, because you highlighted the global pressure to make issues for these side laners is pretty huge, and maybe that's a lot of thought process around Bulldog trading off these side towers is they want to extend the map and play for the 1-3-1, so it makes sense in that regard, and that is what they're transitioning to now. But it does mean, as you said, they're down in dragons. Third dragon, they don't have to contest, but I think fourth they definitely do. And again, it just puts a timer on the game.
Nutri's already doing a fair amount of damage. The Fiendish Codex and the Runic Echoes. Thomas is actually in a blind spot. No one can see him, but not really feeling it yet. Maybe when that level 11 comes through and there's 2 points into Deathmark. But for now, Bulldog actually is leaning up towards his top side. There is a Riftail spawning up. I say spawning up on the map already. Both these teams do want to try and get that to crack open this mid lane. Because I feel like we hit a bit of a stalemate until a mid lane tower falls. But the map finally then opens up a little bit more.
Yeah, and it allows the solo laners of Bulldog to push up more deeply. Because obviously you can crash the wave deeper. That's a threat and huge poke there.
Oh, that's a lot of burst into the death mark. Thomas instantly exhausted. Teleports are coming in, but Alpaca's taken out. Teleport will be completed by Akers, and he just has to run to the wind. The curtain gets cooled. It's going to hit onto Misclick for the final 4th shot, but not enough to really sink in the damage. Afro Boy chunked out, and this should just be the Rift Herald picked up for Bulldog.
Pretty crazy. It was only 1 kill there. You can see Bulldog still trying to fish for more, but they got what they wanted now. I guess playing with fire a little bit in this situation. But,
Oh. No AD carry. This could be a little hairy now. Thomas doesn't actually have his death mark up. He used it in that previous fight. Zyko jumps in, pops the dominance. That's the squishiness I was talking about. The Grand Starfall gets used, and Thomas Go tries to zone KDO away. Doesn't have the flash available, and Alpaca can just follow up with an easy stun. He's ignited. He's down. Alpaca finds the kill. And it started great for Bulldog, but it just fell to the wayside. And this is now going to be the Rift Herald for Barrage again.
Comedy of errors. So Misclick died to a barrel on the ground, I believe. I think that's why Akis killed Misclick when so far away. And then you saw Thomas go when things started to get desperate. I mean, Zyko went in 1v3 and just died. And then Thomas go threw his shadow down. And then instead of swapping to the shadow and flashing, he flashed next to his shadow. Pretty rough all around from Bulldog. Like you said, it was a really good start of the play, and then they just face planted heavily into the ground multiple times. And now they are 2,000 gold down. Dragon spawning in 25 seconds, and this is sole point if Barrage can get it. This puts a real threat on the game. And Afro Boy has Herald to play with as well. Looking rough.
Looking very, very rough. Maybe even taking down that mid lane turret without the help of the Herald. So they're actually just going to flap it down here in the mid. Potentially threaten the tier 2 with it. Somebody's going to have to answer this Herald. But the Dragon's up, and this is potentially Soul.
Speaking of Dragons.
Nutri just bounced around, boxed out, and taken out. Nutri actually gets a kill onto Alpaca. Nutri will fall down, though, as Afro Boy is able to answer out. The death mark comes in. Misclick able to take himself a kill out onto Wojak as Thomas go picking up more. Bulldog actually come out ahead from the fight. It's a very, very scrappy one, and Afro Boy, only one actually able to hold their life. Misclick's now going to move up towards the mid lane and try and answer here. No Lulu at Misclick's back, though, so Misclick is just going to be zoned away. Snuggly took a very, very long path back, and that'll be a charge going out.
Yeah, gets the tower low. They got the mid tower as well, pretty big. But ultimately, the fight went over to Bulldog there. Nutri just able to get so much damage off when they used that Dragon's Descent and just really decimated Barrage pretty heavily. And then Misclick unchallenged in the team fight, and we talked about this backline of Bulldog. The Ashe and the Lulu are super powerful. Now, TP coming in from Zyko. They're looking for this dragon, and Nutri is there to try and help out.
Nutri doesn't have the Dragon's Descent, but will stack it up somewhat quickly with that Stinger. The curtain call comes down. Snuggly has to be careful. If these start to hit, these will hurt. Afro Boy zoned away. They do get the stun off. Nutri needs to find this smite, trying to put that damage out. Nutri onto Afro Boy. Afro Boy smites early to heal, but that's going to be the secure picked up for Bulldog. Nutri very low, no Dragon's Descent available, and is just going to have to run away. But the double kill's already been picked up for KDO, looking for that fourth shot. Wojak's able to get it, and in comes the Grand Starfall. In comes the Grand Team Fight. KDO going to find a triple kill and the ace for Barrage.
Well, they got the dragon.
True.
Nothing else, though. An ace for Barrage. And I think that's the problem, is that Bulldog was so focused on that dragon that they weren't really focused on Barrage finding the team fight, corralling them into the pit, and just decimating them. Unfortunately, Misclick wasn't really able to get much off in that fight, wasn't able to do the sustained damage. Thomas go as well, really just unable to do much in that scenario. And Nutri, without the Dragon's Descent, they're just not nearly as threatening. So nice play from Barrage there. Again, losing the dragon isn't much of a concern for them, but this is the problem. When you start giving over those early dragons, you have to fight so many after that, and you end up committing harder to the dragon than you do to the actual fight itself.
Also, all the ultimates being on cooldown. You highlighted that Dragon's Descent wasn't ready, but they'd used all their cooldowns in the previous fight as well, so just messy stuff from Bulldog. I mean, they had to fight it. They didn't want to give up a third mountain. Obviously, no stats will get picked up for Barrage off the back of, for Bulldog off the back of that, so it does mean the Zed assassination is a little bit more alive, but it's a 1-4 Zed. It's not the performance from Thomas Go we've kind of come to know.
Definitely a rough one. Now, Alpaca's looking.
Yeah, Snuggly gets the shield off, uses the polymorph. Dragon's Descent gets used, and that was a defensive Dragon's Descent by Nutri. Has to try and find some poke. It's going to land it onto KDO, chunking them out for the moment.
Ooh, a lot of poke coming in. But again, you know, they can heal that back up. There's no objective on the cards right now that's really going to be a threat. You actually see the side laners of Barrage able to crash their waves in. So now Thomas Go and Zykoff down to that. And Barrage are going to be able to have pressure once again. And Nutri, the Dragon's Descent.
No. Oh, it does have the flash. Has to burn the flash. Thomas Go gets a lot of damage off onto Alpaca over the wall with the shadow. Meanwhile, Akers does look to find him. Deathmark available, though, so he can dodge out. Akers thinks the better of it and steps away. Is AP Gragas. It doesn't really have that much tanky ability to it, other than a bit of raw health. Looks like Barrage actually going to start this up. Pretty strong Jhin. Will actually go down somewhat quick here. Ashara is available.
Dragon's Descent is nearly actually back up already.
That's going to be hard. Misclick's going to get focused out. They use the Wild Growth onto him. Don't even get time to fire off the arrow. Snuggly's going to have the curtain called on him. Trying to dodge away on all of these skill shots. Snuggly, you beast. Aids to hold his life for a long, long time. Meanwhile, the rest of the team will get their Dragon's Descent in time. And Thomas looking for maybe an assassination off onto Akers. Throws out the death mark. Gets cast back. And Thomas finds an assassination off, but he's slowed down. Barrage answer out one more time. Nutri looking for a little bit more from the Raw. Exhaust is thrown down, and Barrage just playing these fights so well, and it's sloppy from Bulldog right now.
They're just so split, so not coordinated. Misclick there, didn't have the cleanse, didn't have the flash, didn't opt to use it. They just get picked on, and it's the power of this Pantheon able to force these engages, and the follow-up is there now. Baron for Barrage. Dragons in a minute 20, so they can sort of get back to the pace or look to set and be on those 3 dragons. But right now, they're just completely in control of this game. Gold lead, 7,500.
I don't think Akers got that. I thought he was going to respawn in time before it came up. And yeah, he didn't get it. So at least Thomas goes kill, denied one of the members from getting Baron. But
so what you're saying is weird.
No, not even close. Not even remotely close. But the thing is I don't think Akers is really going to be split pushing anyway. He'll probably be with the team. Will obviously go bot lane to catch this wave and shove it out, but Akers isn't really going to be like a split push threat, so to speak.
Yeah, but I mean, he could still crush the waves in, which I think is the value. But you know, you are right. Not really able to do a ton.
So Thomas at least got something. I'm being optimistic. Got the Dust Blade, got the Ghost Blade. This Dragon spawns up in 18 seconds, and I don't know if Bulldog can even contest this.
You know what? I wouldn't. I just honestly wouldn't. I don't think you can get much out of it. I don't think you're going to be able to contest the Dragon. I don't think you need to. Wait for the next one.
Look at the damage onto Snuggly. Misclick throws out the Ash Arrow onto Wojux. Wojux taking a lot of damage, throws out the Unleashed Power. They do come in with a Wild Growth, and Wojux is taken down. Bulldog find the kill. Meanwhile, the tower does fall down in the bot lane. Barrage just continued to shove, but everybody's collapsing in. Thomas has popped the Ghost Blade, trying to get close enough. Meanwhile, the Dragon is picked up for the side of Barrage. They lose 2, but answer out of the Dragon is 1 off that Mountain Soul. Bulldog are just going to try and answer with a mid lane turret for themselves.
Even with that, they're still so far behind. And I think the thing I want to highlight is the level difference. Nutri is 3 levels down on Afro Boy.
That is big. So it's the power of the Ashe, though. You do have a little bit of that pick potential to work with. And there are no QSSs, there are no cleanses. The curtain gets called, and Afro Boy is looking to slide in onto Misclick. They've already used the Wild Growth, and Snuggly's going to take a lot of damage. Misclick trying to kite away from everyone. He's dodging out, flashes over the cask! Misclick goes down, but Thomas able to mop up. KDO being chased down, not able to get anything onto him, but Akers has been pincered out, closed in on by the Bulldog members. Is able to make a grand escape, though, to safety.
Snuggly's not walking in that bush, no way. But yeah, nice move. I mean, honestly, Misclick didn't misclick at all. Just
that was beautiful.
Hitting everything there. Really flawless play. Held the flash. I think a lot of players would have flashed from the Jhin ultimates. Held it for the Gragas and was able just to do so much damage. Yes, went down, but able to secure the fate of Afro Boy. And that was a big shutdown, actually. It was 506 before that, so pretty substantial. And the gold lead's still 6,000, but that's quite a bit less than it was just a minute ago.
And that gold went on to Thomas Go as well, I believe, so. Bit of extra gold into your assassin.
I think he was already 2-5. Because I remember looking at his KDA and I'm like, wow, he's 2-5, that's rough. So I think he was already 2-5. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was. I think that might just be Misclick who got it.
Yeah, it must have been. Oh, yeah, because Misclick now got the Death Stance. So I was literally about to say he was building towards that Death Stance. And imagine that play with the Death Stance. This time he'll have it, so he'll have a little bit more survivability to him. Got the Ash Arrow back up. The Cleanse is not available yet for Misclick, so does need to play a little bit more careful. You've got 2 minutes until that Baron comes up and should have the Death Dance for then. Sorry, the cleanse available for that. So if they do try to contest it, we'll have somewhat extra survivability versus Alpaca. Alpaca does get spotted out by the Hawk Shot.
So that thing's a little precarious. Oh, ult comes in.
Here it is. They're going to just try and burn it onto Misclick already. Grand Starfall gets used and Dragon's Descent by Nutri. In comes Wojux into the middle of the team. Zyko's just going to get taken down. Bop onto Misclick. Misclick trying to kite away, throws out the Ash Arrow. Misclick gets himself almost the kill, but the Zhonya's is big. He's been stunned for days, but he's still alive. He's still going for Nutri. Misclick's alive. Afro Boy slowed down. That's what I meant by the Death Dance. Triple kill for Nutri. Make it a quadra kill. Bulldog come up huge.
They might actually be able to end here. They have so much time. It's going to be close, but they're going for it. And I mean, that fight, Nutri was massive there, landing so many flame breaths consistently to get the quadra kill, and Misclick staying alive through all of that. And we want to wait if they finish the game here to get their final win. It's 15 seconds on Akaz and Syndra. I think they might just take the inhibitor and get out, but that fight was huge. The goal lead has shrunk massively.
Misclick, man, this guy has popped the hell off in the last few moments. This is just gorgeous Ash performance. And
I just think...
Oh, man, honestly, Misclick has single-handedly saved the game.
Misclick and Nutri, I gotta say,
yeah.
Nutri in that fight got so many key flame breaths. Like, yes, Misclick was huge in staying alive and doing that final damage, but Nutri was just chunking them out. And you could see all of Barrage grouped up to chase down Misclick, and it just meant that they were walking through the flame breaths. And I've played a fair bit of AP Shyvana, right? Yes, the initial flame breath does a ton of damage, but the burn on the ground is like Rumble Ultimate level. Like, if you step on it, you get absolutely massacred. It does so much damage. And I think that was the big problem there, is we saw them consistently walking through that and just getting burnt to a cinder.
Misclick didn't even use the cleanse because they tried to force onto them before the cleanse came up. So now the Baron spawning up, the Dragon spawning up. Misclick got a massive amount of kills, a massive amount of gold as they throw the Ash Arrow down. It's going to go a little bit wide. Aka's on the flank, however. This does mean that maybe we'll have to see Bulldog try and dodge this out. As Snuggly gets jumped onto, everything's going to get used. That's a massive flame breath. Thomas goes in for the assassination. Wojux is down. Thomas gets the kill we needed. It's going to get jumped on. Dodges out with the death mark. Thomas is out. Absolutely beastly performance from Bulldog. Ooh. As Nutri mobs up. Jungler down. Deadly Flourish is going to connect, but Nutri throws out one more Dragon's Breath. This time it's not going to do the damage, but Afro Boy's health bar just evaporating to the ground.
Yeah, I mean, just walked over. That's what I'm talking about. It does so much, the burn. And now it's a 4v2. You know how before I said Afro Boy 3 levels up on Nutri? He's 1 level up now. But he's still going to be concerned about this threat. Now, Thomas goes moving down. Ultimate available fairly soon. So I think if Thomas Go plays Interrupt and tries to hunt down Afro Boy, they could just pick up this dragon pretty easily. They know he's there as well. He just warded.
He's looking for him. Oh, Afro.
Yeah,
that is currently a very strong Zed.
A lot stronger than it was before. I mean, the whole of Bulldog, Nutri in particular, again, Misclick deserves a ton of praise for the Ash play, but Nutri has just been mopping up these kills and doing so much work on the Shyvana.
Again, like,
the goal difference.
The Dragon's Breath decided to fight again. Everybody was grouped up in a small tunnel, and it was a free man's Dragon's Breath, and they all had to move back over. The burn damage was just disgusting.
It's really insane. I think at this level, it's doing 100 per second plus 20% of your AP. And then that's just like consistently. Oh. And obviously you can proc the Runic Echoes. You got the double penetration. It's really threatening. And Barrage moved over to the Dragon. Bulldog's like, there's no chance you Dragon against the AP Shyvana. You can now see that Misclick level 15. Oh,
get the now. The Wild Growth actually going to hold it for the moment. Misclick firing out the damage. The slows are going to connect in.
Watch Nutri.
Alpaca gets caught, but watch for Nutri's Roar. A lot of damage in as Zyko jumps in forward. That's going to be a killing spree for Thomas Go. KDO dodges away on the last Dragon's Breath as the Deadly Flourish skims through the middle of the Bulldog members, and this should just be Baron over to them. No Alpaca.
I don't think it's a clean Baron. They could be threatened on a fight here, so I think they want to fish. They don't want to get trapped in the pit. But they're looking for a pick now. Thomas Go still has a death mark.
Yeah, KDO very susceptible to getting blown up here. Doesn't really have any defensive tools. Does have that stopwatch actually, so maybe a harder member to go on, but it's a broken stopwatch on Wojux. Bulldog do their best to step on every Jhin trap in the jungle. Spot this one out. No,
Quick way to clear them out.
I think you do clear them out that way, I guess. Mid lane turret under siege from Barrage, but now they're getting collapsed onto. Ashara is not available yet, and Misclick will take a slight snare to the face, but is able to dodge away for the moment.
What a tense... I mean, I thought this game was over, in all honesty, but
Same.
Bulldog are refusing to let that be the truth.
Every game today is delivered. Every game is delivered today.
Baron being started.
Teleport's
TP
being
coming
used.
in. Yep, the approach is coming.
They spot them out with the Scryers. Alpaca does have the Grand Starfall. Nutri goes into Dragon Form. Gets a bit of damage off onto Alpaca. The Barrage look to reset. They're actually keeping it aggroed up for the moment, and Nutri continues out on the big worm. It's about to actually time out on that Dragon Form, though, so the curtain's going to come down, and Misclick's going to take the first shot, make it the second. The Ash Arrow comes in. A lot of damage onto Akkas already. Zyko flashes in forward. They get the stun off. Misclick has to try and kite and fight this perfectly. As Nutri lands another Dragon's Breath, Thomas is going to go down. Misclick's going to go down. A Barrage maybe just pulled this back. They find themselves a shutdown onto Nutri. A Barrage is just going to run it up the mid lane. This could just be game.
Could well be.
Oh,
just a
he's
little
out.
bit late. Snuggly's still there, though.
Or is that the shield? That's the redemption. No, Snuggly gets polymorphed off, but is going to get taken down. Zyko has to defend versus free. 25 seconds until Misclick's up. 23 seconds until Thomas is up. I don't think Zyko can do this. He's going to pop the Dominus. He's going to try and get in time. Has got that Death Stance to clear out the wave. Instantly belly bopped away. The Scatter of the Weak doesn't quite connect. And Zyko is jumping onto Wojux. Gets a lot of damage off onto him. Wojux low HP. Akka's going to tank out onto the turret. Thomas coming up shortly. The Nexus has been left open. And Zyko has to make this miracle happen. But the Nexus is just not going to be there. Thomas unable to tidy up. The game goes to Barrage.
Oh, what a disappointment for Bulldog. I saw it. That was their first win. I felt it.
This is just heartbreaking for Bulldog.
It's so rough because that was so close and they did so much work to get back into it. Nutri and Misclick in particular were absolutely massive in those team fights, but that last team fight, they were taking damage from the Baron. Nutri didn't get a huge amount of value from the ultimate, and it just didn't set them up for success. Misclick tried to go hero mode at the end, but they managed to take him down, and then that's the problem. When you're that far behind, it's like one team fight and you lose. But one team fight doesn't give you the win. You have to win team fight after team fight after team fight after team fight. And then one mistake, one slip up, one poor execution, and suddenly the team just rushes it down mid and ends. It's a rough one for Bulldog to still go winless. But Barrage, although it doesn't change their standings, it gives a sort of good omen because they'd been looking quite rough for a while, just unable to pick up wins for a significant amount of time. And now they have another one on the board, which just gives them a better feeling going towards those relegations.
Yeah, I also think that does show. Bulldog are showing some life. It's heartbreaking that they've had 3 games this close, and especially versus Munster and London, it really looked like Bulldog were going to be able to find their first win of the season, and it didn't come into fruition. There was a fantastic turnaround for them, but I don't know. I feel that that's still a really good performance from Bulldog, and as we do look towards the relegations, they're a team with life in them. That's not a team that's gone 0-13 and now just looks kind of dead and done. They are still trying. They're still playing seriously. Sure, the Z pick was a bit of a spicy one, but even Thomas Go was making it work. It didn't have the early impact we kind of wanted from it, but in the later fights, but Bulldog were winning. Thomas was killing out the key members, and then it was enabling obviously Nutri and the Ash. I've already forgotten the name of to be able to Misclick, thank you. To be able to put down the rest of the damage possible for the team. But man, if I was Bulldog, I'd be feeling a little sad after that because that was a rough loss. I was so in the moment. I was so believing the hype even, but man, it was a good game from Barrage as well. I'm happy for them to get that win as well. This is the thing. Is every game, I don't have a favorite. I'm rooting for every team at the moment because every game is somewhat important to every team, and this game was important for mental for the two teams at the bottom.
You know what that is, Jake? That's a cop-out.
That's a cop out. Look, normally I have like a team where I'm like, oh, I'm kind of like secretly rooting for, but I genuinely
don't secretly just come out and say it. Just be
okay.
like, yeah,
Actually,
you know what?
I'll be
I'm
honest.
saying it.
I was definitely
Bulldog
I
to
was
win.
I was
It
definitely
wouldn't be
rooting for Eminem in the last game because I really wanted the standings to get shaken up there. So
Okay.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah,
But
that's
that
fair.
one, and
I
that
wanted
one, like
Bulldog to win because it would have been crazy. It would have been hype. The comeback was amazing. And as much as Barrage deserved it for rounding out, that would have been such a great win to get one on the board.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would have been a good win for either team there. I think both teams really played their hearts out. Both teams did deserve the win, and it was Barrage who were able to come out with that. Now, guys, we are going to cut to a quick break, and when we're back, we actually have KDO standing by for an interview. We will see you in a second. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC off the back of what was honestly one of the most back and forth fun games we've had in a while. I say that every game's been back and forth and incredibly fun, but we actually do have KDO standing by for an interview. KDO, how you doing, mate? How do you feel after that win?
I don't know if I feel good, to be honest. It was, that was quite the game. I'm sure that was quite entertaining for everyone, but yeah.
You at the least, you delivered a really fun game for everyone to watch at home. Maybe it wasn't quite as clean as you guys wanted, but it was bloody fun to watch.
I honestly loved it. So my question to you, obviously, Space been a bit rough, not in the place you'd want to be, but looking towards relegations, how do you guys feel about your chances?
I mean, I think we're quite confident. To be honest with you, I don't know many of the UKL teams. I know that one team. I can't think of the name
Resolve,
right now.
maybe?
Yeah, like the one with like quite the good players. I know them. So they're like quite the big threats, but I don't, like I said, I don't know many of the teams, so it's gonna be new for me going in. But I'm confident in our own play, so should be good.
I've asked a lot of the teams this same question. Normally, it's how bad they're prepping, but I want to talk, like what's been kind of the main focus for you guys throughout this season. Obviously, winning is the obvious answer, but let's look at kind of a more deep dive. What's kind of the areas that you guys have been trying to improve on?
So for us, like a big issue with our team is, I mean, it's like quite evident that you can tell that like we're not like early games we actually match up to most teams in the league, but once we get to mid game we're just clueless. And a big reason of that is because our team's like basically full of rookies. There's like, you can like say Akers is like experienced, but even he doesn't have that much experience. So our like goal as a team was just to improve as much as possible, like as individuals in team play, just improve like ourselves. Obviously if winning came with that would have been cool, but when we all joined Barrage, like that, we like sat down and that was our main goal for the season. And I mean, despite us being in the spot, I think like we're still all happy. No one's tilted, no one's like that we haven't made any roster changes or anything. Everyone's like still happy.
Awesome. So do you feel like you guys have hit those marks? Like obviously it's not the best split, but do you feel that you guys have actually hit at least your goals personally?
I mean, obviously I can't speak for everyone on the team. For me personally, I think individually I've had a decent split. I think people have like, or from what I've seen, some people have regarded me as like a decent player, so that's good for me individually. I can't, like I said, I can't speak on behalf of the other players, but for my own, I'm quite happy. I also became more of a voice this split, which is quite good. So yeah, I'm happy.
I'm gonna ask Orcs. I thought you had
I think he's good answers, so he covers a lot of bases.
Thank you very much for joining us here for this interview, KDO. Congratulations on yet another win, and obviously good luck for your game tomorrow, and obviously mainly good luck for the relegation tournament. Hopefully we get to see you back in the UKLC next split. So thank you very much for joining us here, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers.
All right, guys, we have one more game to go. Coming up after the break, we are going to have ourselves Monster Rugby Gaming Academy taking on Envision. This one's spicy. I voted for Envision. Everyone else voted for Monster. I'll see how that's going to break out. We'll see you after the break.